ಇಲ್ಲ
Hello, sir. Hello guys,
Hello, sir. Good morning.
good morning. So let's start our session in cyber forensics, guys. So we will see the multiple techniques, multiple methodologies in a cyber forensics, and let's see how the investigators are actually works. And we will see like what type of procedure, what type of technique, what type of methods, and different types of methodology that, which is used by the investigator for solving the case. So how we can get, how the investigators can get the computing device we will discuss, and what type of evidence they are actually find out from their particular computing device we will discuss, and how they can perform some examination and analysis process to analyze all the computing device which they are just gathered from the incident place. So we will see these processes in this particular cyber forensics course. So guys, just remember one thing: cyber forensics is basically like if the any type of cyber criminal doing a activity related to the internet as well as the related to the electronic gadgets, and after that once you are just performing the uh, investigation part over there, so this is called as a cyber forensics part. So cyber forensics kai fields mein hota hai, but just remember one thing: we are just going to discuss about the computer forensics parts and the digital forensics, because the cyber forensics basically depending upon the software and the hardware also. But for this training we are only going to discuss about the tools, we are only going to discuss about few methods and techniques that is related to the software based training. So we are just only going to discuss about all the training part that is completely depending upon the application based softwares. So we will see like how we can get how we can get the evidence, how we can acquire the image file, how we can extract the data from their particular image file, how we can analyze the examination process, how we can apply the examination process over that particular image file to gather some information from that particular computing device as well as the image file. So these are all the types of technique we are just going to discuss in this particular whole course, that is a cyber forensics. Okay, so in a cyber forensics, there are different types of approaches, different types of investigation process we are using. The first one, we can say that that is a civil investigation. I will tell you like what is that. And the second one, that is a criminal investigation process. And the third one, that is a administrative investigation process. So we will see these all the investigation process, and we'll discuss about in that part of these all the investigations. But just remember that guys, remember one thing guys, we are only going to see all the process which is based on only the software based training. Okay, so let's see how we can use them. So this is our first session. So I would like to start this session from the introduction part as a computer forensics, like what is computer forensics and what type of objectives are basically performed by the investigator once they are just going to investigate any type of case from the computing from the incident's place. So let's see, need to crack that password of that particular system. So how we can do that with the using of cyber forensic password cracking procedures. Now the next thing, that is cyber forensics of the OS bypassing. So in that scenario, we will going to discuss about like if the system is in on state, is in off state, not in on state. That is the system is in off state, and suppose that the cyber criminal is schedule a task when the system is going to start. So there is a scheduled task is going to run and the system is going to crash out. So in that case, you need to break down that particular scheduled task procedure. So how we can do it with the using of OS bypassing procedure. So we will see like how we can use the OS bypass and uh, drop that particular create some conflict on the scheduled task. So in that case, you will get the information from their particular computer as well as the computing device. Now, the next thing, that is digital evidence in the next module, that is related to the digital evidence creating of the acquiring of disk images. So just guys, remember one thing: if you are working as a cyber forensic investigator, so we have restricted to perform some analysis as well as the examination process over the original evidence. So we need to create first as a disk image of that particular original computing device, and after that we will uh, performing some analysis as well as examine process over that particular image file. So how we can acquire the image file on the basis of different distributions like a Windows as well as the Linux distribution. So we will going to discuss about these all the details, these all the procedures as a practical part in the module of 6.1, that is a digital evidence as a disk imaging. Okay. The next thing, that is a hash calculation. After the creating of this image, you need to create, you need to calculate the hash of that particular this image, so we can easily gather, we can easily maintain the integrity of that particular original uh, this image. So why we using this hash calculation procedure, I already told you guys, this is maintaining the integrity. So we will discuss about that procedure also in the coming classes. Okay, so the next topic, that is the write blocking and the data extraction procedure. So what is that? So there are two types of procedures are basically provide some maintain the security as well as maintain the integrity of the original image. So the first one, that is a hash calculation, and the second one, that is a write blocking procedure. So we will discuss about that procedure also, that is a write blocking. We can say that just switch the file, change the file permission to only read only, right? So this is the procedure which is called as a write blocking. So how we can use it, how we can do this procedure with the using of different tools, so we will discuss about that things, and we will see the practical part also. The there's one more things which is covered with the part with the module of write blocking, data, that is a data extraction procedure. So we will see the data extraction procedure in a write blocking procedure. So let's see how we can extract the data from the computing device, like a physical device, local disk, as well as the images disk, as well as any type of device, if the device is basically connected to your computer as well as the system. Okay, so the next thing, the next module, that is file system. So we will use the different types of file system like uh, FAT32, like NTFS, like a different types of extension based system which is working in a Linux operating systems, Linux distributions, and HFS file system which is working on the Mac operating system. So we will discuss about like these type of file system, and we'll see like what's the use of that file system, and who is new and which is old and which is new, right? Okay, so the next module, that is like analysis of the file PDF. Okay guys, this module is basically related to the malware analysis part. So in a let just focus on the 24th module, that is a malware analysis. And in the malware analysis, we will discuss, firstly we will discuss about like what is actually a malware. And you are already discussed, you are already performed this procedure in your CS training as a practical part, like a malware threats module. But we will discuss about the like what is malware, and we will see like how many types of malware which are available. And after that we will see like if the any type of malware is basically comes with the any type of source, like email, like a link, like a something file attached with the file. So how we can trace out, how we can perform some analysis procedure over that particular malware. So in that case we will see the static and the dynamic procedure, and we'll discuss, we'll perform some analysis process, investigation process related to the malware. So the 10th module, that is analysis of PDF file, that is completely related to the malware file. So malware analysis. So sometimes the investigators are facing a problem like the cyber criminal basically sended a type of malware with the binder or a PDF file. So once the person is basically going to run that PDF file, so the malware is basically inject in that particular system. So you need to trace out that particular malware which is binded to that particular PDF file. So this is the procedure which we are just going to discuss about into the malware analysis procedure. Okay, malware analysis module. The next one, that is a registry analysis. So what is that registry analysis, guys? So registry analysis first is a type of data. If I'm just going to tell you what is registry, so registry is the most important part into the Windows operating system to gather the evidence, because registry is a full database information collection of collection of information which is stored in a database. So registry is a type of database. It's a बोल सकते हो. And after that you will get the information, a huge type of information that is related to like your system, like related to the current user, related to the root user, related to the local disk machines. Everything you can get it as a evidence from that particular once you are just going to perform some analysis procedure over the registries. So how we can do this procedure we will see, and we will acquire, we will find out the wireless evidence from that registry by the using of registry analysis procedure. Okay, the next thing, that is the investigation of DOS attacks on organization. Guys, this is the type of attack that is related to the web attacks. So there is one module which is available in your CHFI training, that is a web attack. So in the web attack, we will discuss about a type of attack, that is DOS attack, which is a very popular type of attack. And this attack is basically doing by the cyber criminal over the organization so many times. And organizations are basically facing a lots of issues, lots of problems once the cyber criminal is basically doing DOS as well as the DDoS attack. So we will discuss about that procedure on the two models, like the network analysis in an organization and the investigation of the DOS attack as a web attack over that particular organization. So we will see the countermeasure also related to that attack. We will see the practical part of the DOS attack. You guys already see that procedure in your CS training, but we will see that procedure as a practical part here. And
Sir,
after that, we will
excuse me,
see the litigations as a countermeasure part also.
sir.
Yep.
Sir,
Haji,
if we are anonymous in DOS attacks, can our
yep.
IP bounce at some point in their like logs?
Don't worry,
The real
Ashwin.
IP.
Once we are just going to discuss about that procedure, we will discuss also this thing. Like if the person is basically performing, if the person is basically using some VPNs and something other anonymity procedure, so how we can acquire that particular IP address. Okay.
Okay.
Don't worry about that. Okay, so the next thing, that is a cyber forensics as a firewall handling. So there is a countermeasure procedure which is used by the investigator to provide some types of security to guide the network administrator, like how they can provide the security over that particular network of the organization. So in that scenario, we will discuss about a firewall handling and a firewall implementation part on the basis of different distributions like a Windows as well as a Linux, and we'll see like how the investigator will provide a security as well as a countermeasure thing to protect the whole network of the organization, right? Now, the next thing, that is the encryption analysis and analysis of encrypted data. So this is again a type of analysis which is faced by the which is doing by the cyber investigator, because sometimes in the cyber criminal basically sended the data with the using of encryption procedure. So in that case, firstly you need to understand about like what type of encryption we have and how many types of encryption we have. And after that we will see like if we get a different types of data that is related to like a encrypted data. So in that case, how we can find out like what type of encryption procedure basically used on that particular text, on that particular encrypted text. So we need to discuss about that things in the module of cyber forensic encryption analysis and the analysis of encryption data. Okay, so the next thing, that is a cyber forensic case handling. So guys, this is a very important module, because if we are just going to discuss about like how the investigators are basically investigate the whole case. So in that case, they are using a case handling procedure, and we will see the tool like if I'm just going to tell you the tool name, that is a Topsy. So we are just going to use a Topsy tool, and we'll see like how cyber forensic investigator will investigate the whole case with the using of case handling procedure that is used by the tool of autopsy. So the autopsy is a type of tool which is investigate whole case on the basis of on the basis of computer analysis, on the basis of mobile analysis also. So with the using autopsy tool, we can easily find out some type of evidence as well as a clues from that particular image file, and that image file, maybe that image file is basically related to like a mobile, and maybe that image file related to the computer system. So we will see like how we can perform some case handling procedure over that particular image file, right? So the next thing, that is a email investigation. So what is that email investigation, guys? So this is the next module, and sometimes cyber investigator are facing a types of issue like if the cyber criminal is basically using a email communication for email communication for some types of attacks, as well as suppose that the cyber criminal is basically doing activity like a kidnapping something. So in that case, if the person is basically using a email communication, so we can easily track that particular attacker with the using of email investigation part. So we will see like how the email investigation are actually works, and we'll see that things as a practical part. Okay. So the next thing, that is a media investigation and gathering the metadata about the image file. So we will see like what type of media investigation procedures are basically used by the cyber forensic investigator, and how they can gather the data that is related to like a metadata about that particular image file. So we'll see these procedures as a practical part on the basis of Linux as well as the Windows distributions. So the next thing, that is a disk analysis, that is extraction of data. This is completely related to the 8th module like a data extraction procedure. So we will see that procedure disk analysis into the part of this module. Okay. Malware analysis, I already told you guys. The next thing, that is a mobile analysis procedure. So what is that mobile analysis procedure? So as I already told you guys, if we are just going to investigate any type of case, so firstly we need to create an image file of the actual computing device. So if you are just gather the computing, if you are just gather the device that is like a system from that particular incidence place, so firstly you need to create a you need to acquire the image file, and as well as the same procedure which is followed into the mobile analysis also. So firstly we need to create a image file, and after that we will see the after that we will perform the case handling procedure to investigate the whole case. The next thing, that is the firmware analysis, guys, and firmware analysis is very important because sometimes the investigators are basically facing, yeah, investigators are basically acquire type of device that is a IoT device. So in that case, the investigator need to investigate that particular IoT device with the using of firmware analysis. So we know very well the IoT device is using a firmware as a small part of the OS. So we can perform, yeah, we can investigate that particular firmware with the using of firmware analysis, and we will use that procedure. Yeah, we will see that procedure on the basis of Linux distribution with the using of some tools. So I will tell you like what type of tool we will use, okay, in coming classes. The next thing, that is investigation, yeah, investigating log files. This is very important thing, guys. As an investigator, the first thing you need to do, if we are just going to analyze the any type of case, yeah, if we are just going to handle any type of case, so the first thing you need to analyze, that is a log files, because every type of activity that is related to like a critical, that is related to like a error, that is related to like a informational, so every type of details you can gather from that particular log files, that is based on the different distributions like a Windows as well as the Linux as well as the servers also. So servers are also maintain our logs, firewalls are also maintain our logs. So we will see that procedure on the basis of investigation of the log files. So the next thing, that is the report generation. So this is the last module, guys, and in the report generation we will see the whole procedure, like how we can create, how we can submit the report, and how we can create or generate the appropriate report that is related to that particular crime. So we will see that process into the module of report generation. Clear to all of you, like what type of thing we are just going to cover in the whole course, whole things in a cyber forensics CHFI?
Yes, sir. Just one question I have, like these all things.
So let's start our first module, guys. And the first module is basically related to like cyber forensics as a computer forensics thing. So firstly, we need to discuss about like what is a computer forensics. So just remember one thing, guys, computer forensics just a branch of the cyber forensics, as well as we can say that that is a digital forensic. That actually goal is basically to obtain the evidence found which is related to like a computer as well as a digital storage media. So in this investigation part, the investigator is basically performing some type of analysis procedure, some type of gathering procedure, and after that they just find out some type of evidence from the computer as well as the digital storage media. So in the goal of this particular whole computer forensics things, the to examine that particular device as well as a computing device, yeah, digital media in a using of forensically sound manner. So what is forensically sound manner? Forensically sound manner is basically defined a process of methods, like what type of methods the use for to investigate that case, and what type of methodology and techniques to perform to gather that particular evidence from their particular computing device. So this is called as a forensically sound manner, and the aim of basically to gather these things to identify, to maintain the integrity, to identify the clues and evidence, to maintain the integrity, to recover the data which is already deleted that, and analyze the things and find out like what type of procedure is basically used, that like what type of operations is basically used that particular system, and the presenting facts like with the using of presentations for the report generation and opinion about the digital forensics related our colleagues. So this is the complete part which the investigator is basically doing as a computer forensics thing. So the as a definition, we will see that, yeah, we will discuss. We will understand like computer forensics is a branch of digital forensic science obtaining to evidence found in a computer and digital storage media. The goal of computer forensics is to examine digital media in a forensically sound manner with the aim of identifying, maintaining, recovering, analyzing and presenting facts and opinion about the digital information. So this is the complete part of the computer forensic definition. So if you are working as a computer forensic investigator, so you need to complete few types of objective. So what the first objective you need to complete, that is to track and prosecute perpetrator of a cyber crime. पता करो, ट्रैक करो उस अपराधी को जो उस पर्टिकुलर साइबर क्राइम के पीछे है. The second thing, to gather the evidence of the cyber crime in a forensically sound manner. So we need to gather the evidence with the using of forensic method, forensic techniques and forensic methodologies for gathering the evidence from the computing device. The third objective you need to complete, that is to estimate the potential impact of a malicious activity on the victim. So हमें करना क्या है यहाँ पे कि आपको सबसे पहले पता लगाना होता है, you need to calculate the total estimate of the attack, yeah, of the impact, potential impact of that particular malicious activity on the victim. जो भी victim के ऊपर आपकी activities हुई हैं malicious, उनके बारे में पता लगाना, उनका calculation करना. This is a third objective. The fourth objective is basically to minimize the tangible and the intangible losses of the organization. So what is tangible losses? Tangible losses are the type of losses we can see directly. Yeah, like we can see it like hardware related losses is basically called as a tangible losses, and the intangible losses are basically called as the software as well as the application based losses. So you need to minimize that type of losses on the basis of tangible and the intangible. The next thing, the next objective you need to complete, like to protect the organization from the similar incidents in future. If you are working as a forensic investigator and you are just solving the case that is related to like a administrative investigation in the organization, so you need to provide some type of countermeasures, some types of protection methods to that organization from that similar incidents in future. Like यही जो attack अभी हुआ है वो future में attack दोबारा ना हो, तो you need to maintain the protection part, you need to maintain the high security countermeasures. Okay, so वो आप कैसे करोगे? This is the third last objective. So ये कुछ objectives होते हैं जो आपको complete करने हैं as a investigator. ओके, सो इन ऑब्जेक्टिव्स के बारे में हम डिस्कस करेंगे, इनके कैसे हम कम कर सकते हैं लॉसेस को, कैसे हम मिनिमाइज कर सकते हैं, कैसे हम एस्टिमेट लगाते हैं, किस तरीके से हम लॉसेस को दोबारा ना हो वो इंसिडेंट्स उनको कैसे हम प्रोटेक्ट करते हैं, एंड साउंड यानी कि फॉरेंसिकली साउंड मैनर मेथड्स एंड टेक्निक्स कौन कौन सी यूज करते हैं अपने क्या कहते हैं एविडेंस को गैदर करने के लिए. सो वो सारे टेक्निक्स हम देखेंगे यहाँ पे एज ए प्रैक्टिकल पार्ट और उनको हम कंप्लीट भी करेंगे. नेक्स्ट थिंग we need to discuss, अगर आप साइबर फोरेंसिक इन्वेस्टिगेटर हो, as I already told you, like a cyber crime. So firstly we need to discuss about the cyber crime. So guys, if you are just going to discuss about the cyber crime, so we can say that like if the cyber criminal is basically doing an activity that is related to like internet as well as the electronic devices as an illegal purpose, so we can say that that person is basically that cyber criminal is basically doing a type of crime that is related to like a cyber crime. Yeah, in other words, we can say that cyber crime is basically defined as any illegal act involving a computing device, network, its system, or its application. Yeah, in other words, you can also say that like performing the any type of crime, yeah, performing the any type of illegal hacking with the using of internet as well as a electronic device, a computing device. So this is a complete definition about the related the cyber crime. So there are multiple types of cyber crimes. So we will discuss about on the basis of categories. So there, the cyber crime is basically categorized in two types. The first one that is called as a internal attacks, and the second one that is called as a external attacks. So what is internal attacks and what is external attacks? So internal attacks are basically related to like a breach of trust or unsatisfied employee within an organization. If the employees basically break down the trust of that organization, as well as if the employee is basically doing some type of illegal acts in the organization, so that type of attacks are basically called as a included in a internal type of attack. So there are some examples related to like a internal attacks. The first one that is called as spying, that is related to like quality. The third one like manipulation of the records, like if the records are available in a network, if the records are available in an organization, so sometimes the employees are basically the bad employees are basically doing like they are just go and manipulate the records. So this is a type of again a type of crime which is called as an internal type of attack, right? And the last one, Trojan horse attack. So if the internal if the bad employees basically inject a type of Trojan in a computers in a system, so in that case the other person can easily get the access of that particular whole network of the company with the using of that Trojan, right? That malicious, that malware. So this is again a type of crime which is included in a category of internal type of cyber attacks. Now, the next thing, that is the external type of cyber attack. So what is that? External type of cyber attack is basically related to like attackers are basically hired either by internal or an external entity to destroy the organization reputation. Sometimes cyber criminals are basically performing some type of internal attacks, like किसी person को hire कर लेते हैं जो internal उस company में काम करता हो, या फिर कर सकते हैं कि उसको ब्लैकमेल कर सकते हैं तब वो काम कर दे, या एक्सटर्नल एंटिटीज का यूज कर सकते हैं. तो एक्सटर्नल एंटिटीज कहाँ पे यूज होती हैं? जैसे कि बाहर से अटैक करना. तो बाहर से जो अटैक्स होते हैं वो या तो आपके सर्वर पे होते हैं ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के, या तो वेब सर्वर्स मोस्ट पॉपुलर होते हैं, वेब सर्वर्स. अदरवाइज the companies are basically the cyber criminals are basically a type of attack that is related to like a external attack as a web attack, like a DOS attack. So वो भी वो वहाँ पे क्या करते हैं, परफॉर्म करते हैं. So this is again a type of attack which is included in the external type. और किस लिए किए जाते हैं? That is nothing else, just destroy the organization reputation. Organization की reputation को destroy करने के लिए क्या करते हैं? External type of attacks का use करते हैं. For an example, like SQL attacks. So you guys already discussed about that SQL injection attacks. for hacking the database of that particular organization server. तो आप वहां पे आपने देख रखा है कि किस तरीके से करते हैं. The second thing, brute forcing attack. Brute forcing attack to crack the password of the admin panel as well as the other users credential panel. So in that case, the users will facing as well as the admin will facing a lots of issues, lots of problem if the brute forcing attack is basically doing over that particular network. So just मैं आपको बताऊंगा कि if the cyber criminal basically doing a type of like a brute forcing attack, so in that case how we can protect our network, how we can protect the things, right? So कैसे कर सकते हैं वो भी हम discuss करेंगे. The next thing, that is the identity theft. Identity theft, that is related to like a type of attack in which the cyber criminal basically using a different person identity to entering in an organization. So this is again a type of attack which is called as a identity theft. The next one, phishing and a spoofing attack. So sometimes cyber criminals are using a social engineering things as a spoofing and a phishing attack to manipulate the human minds, and after that they are just sometimes they are just sended a fake pages via the email, like via the link through email, and after that once the person is basically going to click on that link, so all the details will acquire from that particular link and they are sent it to that particular attacker. So this type of attack is basically doing by the external type of attacks, yeah, doing by the cyber criminal over the organization, over the normal peoples also. So in that type of attack, the cyber criminal basically created a fake page that is looks like an original website, and they are just sended a email, they are sended a message through email, and that email is written a message, for an example like there is some problem to access, yeah, to identify your Aadhaar card, and that email you can just you just receive from that government organization, suppose that. So in that case you are just faced like there is some problem to identify your Aadhaar card, please click on this link and verify your Aadhaar details, and आप click करोगे definitely, and after that आप उसके अंदर अपनी डिटेल्स फिल करोगे एंड जस्ट क्लिक टू ओके, एंड देन आपकी डिटेल्स वहां से लीक हो जाएंगी. तो दिस टाइप ऑफ एक्टिविटीज आर आल्सो यूज्ड बाय द साइबर क्रिमिनल over the in the category of external type of attack. The next one, that is called as a denial of service attack. As I already told you guys, this type of attack is basically related to the web type of attack to destroy the whole server of that particular organization. So the organization are facing a lots of issues to maintain the complete या ऐसे बोल सकते हैं the if the cyber criminal basically doing this type of attack, so the clients are basically facing issues that related to organization. So वहाँ के organization से related जो उनके clients हैं वो उनको issues create होगा because other people's clients are not access the services of that particular organization, right? तो वहाँ पे जो आपके problems create होती हैं वो denial of service attacks में आती हैं. The next one, cyber defamation. साइबर डिफेमेशन इज रिलेटेड टू लाइक अ साइबर वर्ल्ड में उसकी बदनामी कर देना. किस तरीके से, जैसे कि अगर आपको याद हो कि नए एप्स आते हैं और साइबर क्रिमिनल्स क्या करते हैं या फिर जो आपके अटैकर्स होते हैं वो उनको तुरंत हैक करने का चालू कर देते हैं. लाइक फॉर एन एग्जांपल, जैसे कि आपका डोमिनोज के ऊपर, तो अब जैसे डोमिनोज के ऊपर जो रिसेंटली अटैक हुआ उसकी वजह से लोगों ने अपना डेटा वहां स्टोर करना बंद कर दिया. ज्यादातर लोग जो अपना डेटा वहां स्टोर करते थे यानी कि क्रेडिट कार्ड डिटेल स्टोर होती थी, सब मदर डिटेल्स, तो उन्होंने क्या किया, अब कैश ऑन डिलीवरी ज्यादा प्रेफर करते हैं लोग. सो दिस टाइप ऑफ लाइक आपका जो क्लाइंट इंटरेक्शन है वो कम हो जाता है. किसकी हेल्प से? अटैक्स की हेल्प से, जो कि आपके इंटरनल या एक्सटर्नल अटैक्स हो सकते हैं. सो गाइस, दीज आर द टाइप्स ऑफ cyber crimes on the basis of two category like internal and external categories. Okay,
Sir, identity theft
other type actually we have other types of cyber crimes also guys. So some जो categories में नहीं आते हैं, कुछ other types के भी हैं. So we will discuss like the first one, that is a computer fraud. So what is computer fraud? Some types of sometimes the cyber criminal is basically doing an attack that is related to like a computer fraud. Suppose that you are just going to buy a new computer from the shop as well as from the online sources. So if you got a computer, if you got a laptop, and you just received a laptop, and you are just realize that laptop is basically a second hand. So there is a problem, like because अगर वो laptop चोरी का है, maybe that laptop is a theft laptop, so in that case you are facing a lots of issues. So this is related to a crime that is related to like a computer fraud, right? The next one, that is a privacy violation. So the what is privacy violation? किसी की भी privacy में भंग डालना. It is related to like exposing the data over the internet. Suppose
Yes,
that
sir.
sometimes the cyber criminals, yeah.
Sir, in computer fraud section, do you think that the laptops like HP and Dell are being tracked when there is some stolen one?
Yeah, is it possible?
Yeah, is it possible? Because Mac is trackable. Mac is like Apple tracks Mac every time. You can't open Mac without other things, unless or until you have uninstalled whole of the Mac OS and install the Windows OS in that. Hello.
Sorry, Ashwin, I don't understand your point actually.
I'm saying that normal laptops like HP, Dell, and other companies, do you think they are trackable when there is some stolen laptop?
Uh, just remember one thing, guys. Every type of computing device is trackable. If that computing device is having a like an IC card, so you can use a tracking procedure to track that with the using of an IC card. तो आप वहां से उन्हें track कर सकते हो.
Okay, with the same MAC address because it has the same MAC address every time.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the same procedure basically used in a Mac operating systems also.
Okay. Okay.
So कोई भी डिवाइस की आइडेंटिटी है. Suppose that how the cyber investigators like they track the mobile devices. किसके basis पे? ISMI sorry IMI नंबर के basis पे, right? जो उसके अंदर सिम पड़ा है, सिम के बेसिस पे ISMSI नंबर जो होता है उसका, उसके बेसिस पे कर सकते हैं. आपके IMI नंबर के बेसिस पे कर सकते हैं. तो उनके कैसे किए जाते हैं हम उनको डिस्कस करेंगे इसके आगे. तो हमें पता चलेगा कि वो किस तरीके से ट्रेस करते हैं. We will not see that procedure as a practical part because we don't have an authority, we don't have such type of tools to investigate that type of things, but we will discuss the cases like how the investigators are basically work over these type of cases, right? So कैसे करेंगे उनके बारे में डिस्कस हम जरूर करेंगे.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So मैं आपको बता था what is privacy violation. Privacy violation is basically related to like exposing the data over the internet. So suppose that sometimes cyber criminals are basically hack the different systems and hack a different types of mobile phones of the different users, and once they are just got a different types of media files from there, and after that they are just exposing that files without that permission to the internet or over the internet. So this is a type of crime which is related to like a privacy violation. So just remember one thing, if you got any type of media files, if you got any type of report file, if you got any type of documented file, and if you are just uploaded that particular file without the authority, so in that case you are facing a lots of issues, guys. So this is a type of crime which is doing by the cyber criminals as a illegal purpose which is related to like a privacy violation. The next thing, that is the identity theft. So what is that identity theft? That is again guys I told you, that is stealing the information from the system as well as the network. If the cyber criminal basically steal that type of crime, most of the time is basically doing by the internal or the external entities, both of things. How that type of crime is basically related to like a internal activities. So internal type of attacks are basically involved like a identity theft. If the employee is basically working in a company and they are just breaking the trust, they are just performing, they are just stealing the information and just leak out that information to the different companies, so we can say that that is doing a type of crime which is related to like identity theft. And for the external entities, for the external attacks, the cyber criminals are basically using a different person's identity that is working in a company as an employee, and they are just entering in a company, and after that they are just stealing the data from there. So this is again type of crime which is related to like a identity theft. The next one, that is called as a sharing copyrighted files oblique information. So guys, this is a type of crime in which the cyber criminal is basically leaking the confidential files. So this is a type of crime which is performed, yeah, which is doing by the multiple peoples who are working in a company. So suppose that a person is basically working in a company, and the computer company is basically offer them, just share me these type of confidential file details, and after that I will give you the lots of money. So in that case, if the person is basically doing this type of crime, so that crime is basically related to like a sharing copyrighted files oblique information. So there is an attacker, guys, that is the name of Edward Snowden. Have you heard that name, Edward Snowden? All of you?
No, sir.
No. Okay, guys, just note down the name. That is the Edward Snowden. Shavik, your voice is not audible. I guess you are saying something. Okay, so just note down the name. That is Edward Snowden, and Edward Snowden is a person who are basically doing this type of crime, that is sharing copyrighted files oblique information. So just note down the name and read about the whole journey of the Edward Snowden and the history of the Edward Snowden. So this is a homework, guys. Just note down the name Edward Snowden and read it out carefully about that particular whole life journey of Edward Snowden. The next type of crime, that is called as the electronic money transfer. So what is that electronic money transfer? That is related to like a net banking and the transaction procedure. So for this type of crime, the cyber criminal is basically using a type of attack that is related to like a MITM, that is called as a man in the middle attack. And nowadays the cyber criminals are using a types of links and using a types of other things like the OTP bypassing and something like bypassing procedures, and the MITM attacks are also doing by the attackers, that is man in the middle attack, which is a type of attack in which the cyber criminal basically capturing the packet between the transmission channel. So in that case, the cyber criminal is basically capture all the transaction uh, packets, and after that they are just performing, they are just doing some type of changes as well as the alteration in that particular packet, like the amount and the um, account number. And after that, once the person is basically click to send the money is basically sent it to a different account. The person is receiving an OTP, but remember one thing, guys, OTP is not having any type of like data, any type of information like how much money you are transferring to which account, right, in which account. So this is a lack points, we can say that. But the OTP, once the person receive and once the person is basically fill that OTP details, and after that just click to send, and the money is sent to a different account. So this is again type of crime which is doing by the cyber criminals, that is related to like a electronic money transfer. The next one, that is called as a electronic money laundering. So what is that? That is related to like a convert a black money to white money. So for this type of crime, you need to see a type of movie like a Commando 2 and Shivaji the Boss, as well as the different other movies are also available to define you the whole procedure, like how the cyber criminals are basically using this procedure for converting the black money to white money. So just note down the name, that is a Commando 2 and Shivaji the Boss. Both are the Indian movies, you can see. You need to see actually. Okay, so the next type of crime, that is related to like a ATM fraud. Are you saying something, Ashwin? Okay, guys. So the next type of crime that is related to like a ATM fraud. So what is that? In a ATM fraud, the most famous and the popular type of attack that is called as the cloning of ATM cards. So anyone have an idea about like how the card cloning are basically work? So just tell me. All of you, anyone knows like how the card cloning are work?
Yes, yes,
Uh,
sir. There's a device that is being sold on
like
the
we
black
have
market, in which you just have to put the card, and there is a software in Kali Linux. It will clone of all of the hardware of that card in a dummy card. So the dummy card comes along with the device. You can copy the original card data to dummy card just as a SIM copier. So you can use that dummy card as an original card in any of the ATM or any machines like swapping machines or any store.
Okay. Okay.
for example, the cards which use RFIDs, the ATM cards.
Okay.
If anybody can specifically bring a small machine, it's a handheld machine near your pocket. So they can clone it through the RFID tag.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. So ठीक है, आप सबने सही बताया, ठीक है, दोनों ने. Okay. So जिनको नहीं पता है, for those peoples, I would like to. If the mail is not come with the authorized parties, so you need to maintain, you need to scan that particular things, as well as if you are just received that type of mail like just change your password, so don't click on that link, just go through with the official page, official ID of that particular like company as well as the government sector जिसके भी आपको link आया है, just click on that and just try to change the password from there, not the link you got, yeah, you just received via the email, right? Don't click on that link. So these are all the types of cyber crimes जिनके बारे में हमने discuss किया. The next thing, that is cyber bullying. So guys, just remember one thing, in a cyber crime there is one more type of technique which is used by the cyber criminal, that is called as cyber bullying. Cyber bullying is not a type of huge attack, that is a small type of attack, but there is some type of attack like a catfishing and a trolling which is used by the cyber criminal to doing activities over that particular normal users, and even then the normal users are also using that types of cyber bullying type of crime, but that users are actually don't know they are performing a type of crime. So in that case, we need to understand like what type of cyberbullying we have and what type of cyberbullying types are basically. Okay, so what is the next thing? The next thing is basically related to like a data as well as the information. So what is data and what is information? So firstly, we need to understand like if you're working as a cyber forensic investigator and you just received a type of information as well as the data. So what is the difference between both of them? So if we are just going to talk about like the difference between, so for an example, like suppose that in a company there are 50 employees are basically working, and all the 50 employees records is basically, we can say that that is a data. But if your manager is basically said you say you just go and find out, yeah, just go and collect the name and collect the number and the address of this particular name of the employee. So in that case, you are just go on that particular record room and you just extract the information from there. So which you are collected, that is a useful thing, so that is, we can say that that is the information. So this is a similar thing, like data is everything, like a useful and a unuseful knowledge, we can say that that is a raw facts, and the information we can say that is once you are just process the data or the collection of data, so that is called as the information. As well as we can say that once you are just extract the useful knowledge from that particular data, so which is called as the information. So once we are just performing the type of crime, once they are cyber criminal basically doing a type of crime, so they received a data, but they are only use, they are only collect the such type of information which is useful for that. Yes, useful for uh, us, yeah, useful for that particular cyber criminal, right? So this is the basic difference between the data and the information. The next thing, that is a type of information. So what is the type of information, guys? So on the basis of categories, the type of information is basically divided into 4 categories. Okay, so why the cyber criminal, why we need to understand about like what type of information we have, because if you're working as an investigator, so once the data is basically breached, so you need to know about like what type of information are basically stealed by that particular cyber criminal as well as the attacker. So in that case, the categories are basically total 4. The first category, which is called as a confidential information. So what is that confidential information? That is related to like a Aadhaar card, a such type information you don't want to share with anyone very easily, right? So these all type of information which is called as a confidential information, that is related to like a Aadhaar card, password, birth certificate, PAN card, your voter ID card. So these are all the details which is included in the confidential information. So guys, मैंने आपको एक छोटा सा होमवर्क दिया है, that is related to you need to learn about the address snowden. तो वहां से आपको confidential information का एग्जांपल मिलेगा कि उसने किया क्या था. तो they leaked the confidential information, तो आप वहां से उन्हें क्या कर सकते हो, पढ़ सकते हो. ठीक है. Now, the next thing, that is a financial information. So what is that financial information? Financial information is basically related to like a financial statement, like related to like a money. So that include the financial statement, bank details, login credential, and the bank practices, etc., etc. So these are all the types of information जो किसके अंदर आती है, in the financial information. Okay. So cyber criminals are just trying to get some details about the financial statements about that particular victim, and after that they are just trying to hack that victim with the using of some type of attack like a phishing, like a spoofing, like different types of freakers activities, performing some freakers activities and get the details from there. So for an example, suppose that you are just receiving a call from the freaker, and that freaker is basically said, hello sir, I'm calling from this card department and your card expires very soon. Please confirm your 16-digit number and your CVV and your expiry date, and after that your card renew for the lifetime once you are just share me the OTP. And once you are just go to share, once you are just share the OTP, then your card detects some, your card debited some money. Yeah, your account is debit some money with the using of your card. So how? With the using of with the sharing of financial information to the another person. So just remember one thing, guys, the bank will not call you, and the bank will not call you and not said you ki there is some problem like to access your details. Yeah, there is your card is expiring very soon. These type of details, these type of call you will not receive from the authorized banks. अगर कोई कर रहा है तो it means that that person is basically doing a type of fraud, right? तो वहां से होता है. The next thing, that is a health information. So health information is a type of information in which the cyber criminals want to gather some type of information that is related to like a health of that particular victim, like a policies and the diseases. So if the victim is basically by any type of policy, so we can gather like what type of इसने कौन सी ले रखी है अपनी policies, इसने किस type की insurance करा रखा है. We need to gather the detail about the insurance, diseases क्या है, बीमारी क्या है. So if you remember that, guys, the Dr. Batra lab in 2020, yep, हाँ, 2000 November of 2020, the Dr. Batra lab data is being stealed. चोरी हो गया था किसकी हेल्प से, आपके कहाँ से? उनके लैब से। क्या थी? स्टीलिंग, यानी कि आपके पॉलिसी एंड डिसीजन, लोगों के क्लाइंट्स के जो थे उनके डिटेल्स वहां से चोरी कर ली गई थी। तो इसका हेल्प कैसे ले सकते हैं? जैसे कि अगर सपोज करो इंश्योरेंस उन्होंने करा रखा है, तो दे आर सिंपली सेड, हेलो सर, आई एम कॉलिंग फ्रॉम दिस इंश्योरेंस डिपार्टमेंट एंड योर इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी is and our company basically provides some type of discount over your insurance policy. Just pay now and you will get a 25% discount on your monthly premium या ईयरली प्रीमियम जो भी है आपका, उस पे आपको इतना डिस्काउंट मिल रहा है। तो आप वहां पे जाओगे और वहां पे क्या करोगे? आप अगर लालच हो, ग्रीडी हो, तो उस केस में आप वहां पे फंस सकते हो। तो दिस टाइप ऑफ अटैक इज आल्सो यूज्ड बाय द साइबर क्रिमिनल्स। सो जस्ट रिमेंबर वन थिंग कि अगर आप इस टाइप में कभी फंसो तो बी अवेयर। The next type of information, that is category personal information. So personal information are the such type of information which is shared by the users very easily to anyone, like on the social media platforms. They can use the social media platform to sharing the information like address, phone number, DOB's name, and other details also, interest, non-interest, right? So every person, the most of the persons are basically sharing all the details over that particular cloud, like अपने सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म फेसबुक, इंस्टाग्राम पे शेयर करते रहते हैं। इवन दे कैन शेयर द एवरी एक्टिविटी, जो भी वो डेली रूटीन एक्टिविटीज करते हैं वो भी शेयर करते हैं। दिस इज अगेन अ टाइप ऑफ लीकेज पॉइंट which the attackers are basically using to compromise the data, compromise the information about that particular victim as well as the person. So this is all about like the types of information. Clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So I guess this is sufficient for today's session, and we will discuss the next thing at tomorrow. So connect at tomorrow at 10 a.m. and then we will discuss the new things. Okay.
What is
So once the
tomorrow?
note is completed, so I will share the notes. The notes is not completed yet. So tomorrow I will share the notes with you.
Okay, okay.